I'd like to bust a myth, actually, that I think most of us believe in, and that is, to be creative, you have to be artistic and you have to be able to draw. So if you can't draw, you're not creative, and that's absolutely not true. We are all creative. We all get a hell of a lot out of it, of joy, of feeling fulfilled and being happy with yourself and your surroundings, and even better, to connect with a community of like-minded people. So what I wanted to do today is introduce Sue, who owns the Fabric Garden. Sue does the most amazing quilts. You can see her beautiful piece of work at the back here. Sue works out of her home, and you can see all the gorgeous bits of fabric. So Sue, tell us, how did you get into this?
Well, I've been sewing since I was a little child. My mom taught me to sew, and it's always been something I've done. And then when I came to Australia, I made contact with a friend at work who introduced me to someone who took me to a quilting class. And that's how I started. I started quilting. I'd never quilted. I've sewn all my life, but I'd never quilted.
Wow.
And it became my passion.
Right.
And then one day I just decided, my mom was ill. I was looking at what I could do if for some reason I couldn't work. And I thought, let's combine two things I do, which is IT and quilting.
Very smart.
And that's how it started.
Excellent. So what do you enjoy most about it?
Being my own boss, really, I suppose. I think most people have would like to work for themselves.
Yes.
They don't always have the opportunity to do it. And it's being able to take ideas that I have and execute them. And I'm responsible for whether it works or not.
Right. So no blaming anybody else, right? The buck
Exactly.
stops with you.
Exactly right. It is hard because I still actually work full time as well. So trying to fit it in, as most people try and do.
Sure.
You normally start your side hustle
Yes.
while you're still working.
Yes, absolutely. So let's just get into a bit more detail. Do you need to be able to sew to get into this?
No, I mean, there's always resources out there, be it your local quilt shop, be it YouTube. A lot of people have taught themselves how to sew following YouTube tutorials. You don't need to have a sewing machine. There's a lot of tutorials that show you how to do it by hand. And sewing machines have become so cheap these days. You can pick up a sewing machine from the local post office, for example.
True.
So it's yes.
So it's very accessible
definitely.
to most people.
For sure. And it needn't cost a lot to start either, because there are also second-hand machines available all over
Right.
the show. Your mom might even have one.
Yes. In fact, I have my mom's sewing machine, and it sits up in my cupboard. I should get it down.
Just needs a service.
Yeah. So what is your favorite piece that you're most proud of?
Probably the one behind me.
That's beautiful.
I'd never done that style of quilting before, and my mom used to always laugh at me because I'd always start with the most complicated thing and work it out as I went. And that one is something called foundation piecing. It's by a designer called Saffris Lane Designs. I can finally pronounce that correctly. And it's a pattern, and I ran it as a block of the month, and I usually quilt along with my people doing it in the same group.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and this was the first quilt I ever entered in a quilt show, in the big Quilt New South Wales quilt show,
Okay.
and the professional category.
Wow.
And I won third judge's commendation, I think, on it,
Excellent.
which I was not expecting.
Wow. For the first try of a complicated one.
Because I don't consider myself as like one of the very professional quilters. I haven't been quilting as long as they have.
Right.
But obviously it took their fancy.
Yeah. That's amazing. So I'm interested in the social aspect or the community aspect that you were saying. So you kind of tell us a bit about that, how you sew along with other people?
So there's always a group. there's different types of groups. There's more traditional groups, there's more modern groups. I belong to about 3 or 4 different groups. We meet regularly, like once a month generally. And they're just so generous with their time and with their advice. I couldn't have completed that quilt without some of the advice I got.
Right. And I think that goes generally, right? This is why it's nice to belong to a community, because it takes a village, it takes a tribe, and we are here to help each other.
Well, I
right?
describe it as the quilting mafia.
Okay.
So if I need a plumber, if I need a builder, I just ask my quilting mates and they'll recommend someone.
Great.
It's the best networking I've ever done.
Wow, excellent. So if people want to have a look at your stuff, what you do, perhaps joining, a couple of the communities, where we'll have the detail on the website as well. So it's
fabricgarden.com.au.
Okay.
But I'm on all things social as well, so you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook.
Excellent.
There's always somewhere to follow me.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Sue. It's lovely talking to you today.
Thank you.
Okay.